Hi everybody. Good morning. Welcome to English class. First, I want to say that I'm learning about teaching online as we're doing this, and it is very strange. I really like teaching with students, so I really miss you guys. I want you to come back soon. Today in our class, I have a few things I want to do. And we will talk a little bit about language, and specifically pronunciation. And I want to share with you a tool, something you can use to help with speaking more fluently. Okay? It'll help you sound like an American. After that, I want to also share with you one of my favorite stories from America. Okay, these stories are called tall tales or folk stories. Okay, so first is language. All right, one of my favorite things is linguistics. This is the study of language. And we can use the study of language to learn how do people talk, what sounds are used in English, and where in the mouth it's made. But this is very confusing. What does this mean? Relax. Okay? Today we are going to look at the vowels of American English. And we can do that using this color chart. Each color has a sound. I know it's very hard to see on the presentation, so later you can get this presentation, the slides, I think, on our website. But we can see the colors green, blue, brown, red, black. Each color has a sound with it, a vowel sound. Okay? Up at the top we have E, green, T, E sound. Blue, moon, oo, it's the oo sound. Down here, you hear this a lot in American English. Ah. Black cat. Red dress. This will help you find that pronunciation. How do people in America talk? Well, we can use this color chart. Today, I will introduce a tongue twister that uses the 5 vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, U, but in the American pronunciation. So let's go over the A sound. Black cat. Bad hat. Backpack. Right? All words that are black, you will do the A sound. Next is the E sound. Red dress, right? Try to remember that. Red dress. If you see a word that's in red, use the sound. Bed. Head. Lesson. Telephone. The I sound, I. Silver pin. When you see a word that's in silver, the I sound, tin. Fish. Chicken. Imagine. The O sound, olive sock. Now it's hard to see in this presentation, but later if you download, it's not green. Remember, green is the E sound. This is olive, sock, olive sock, dog, mop, boxing, opposite. Okay, it's that O sound. And the last, for our U sound, it'll be this mustard color. A cup of mustard. Cup of mustard. Duck, ugly, puppet, button. Today's tongue twister is Betty Botter. We have the 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. First is batter. When you're making a cake, the batter is what you mix before you put it into the oven. This is our batter. Better, right? You can see it's red. Better. Gets better. Good, better, best. Bitter, our silver color. Bitter. It tastes bad, right? Doesn't taste good. Botter, our olive color. This is her name. My name is Mr. Gilmore. This is Betty Botter. Our mustard color, butter. It's butter. In the tongue twister, I will change the colors so that you can know what sound to make. So let's practice. Betty Botter bought some butter. Betty Botter bought some butter. You can see, what is she doing? She bought some butter. But she said, this butter's bitter. Here we have mustard and silver. Butter's bitter. But she said, this butter's bitter. The butter tastes bad. Ugh. If I put it in my batter, right? Black, batter, black, batter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. Black, silver. It will make my batter bitter. Okay? So those are 4 lines. Let's try the whole thing. Let's start slow and then get a little bit faster, a little bit faster. Okay? So let's practice. Betty Botter bought some butter. But she said, this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. Right? Really practice sounding the same. Try to mimic. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. And faster. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. We'll go 2 more times. Okay, a little bit faster. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. Okay, now as fast as you can. Can you do the same? Let's try. Betty butter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. Okay, next week, this tongue twister is not finished. It's actually longer. It's very long. Next week, we will continue with our tongue twister and finish it. Also today, I want to share one of my favorite stories from America. These are tall tales or folk stories. These are stories that some are true, some are not. Some are about real people, but some are about fictional people or people who are not real. Okay? My three favorite are about Paul Bunyan, John Henry, and Pecos Bill. If you want to learn about Pecos Bill, you can watch my video from yesterday. Today, for second year, we'll talk about Paul Bunyan. Okay? Well, who is Paul Bunyan? He was born in Maine. Maine is all the way up here in the northeast of America. He was born in Maine, and his job is a lumberjack. Cuts down trees. Now, he was born in Maine, but very quickly, when he became an adult, he moves to the Midwest, the northern states of Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana area. Why does he go there? There are lots of trees. So many trees. He's a lumberjack. He cuts down trees. That's what he does. That's what he do. Before we start, let's talk about some words. Colossal. We have large, giant, colossal. Even bigger. Right down here, this is a human, a man. This dragon is colossal. It is so much bigger. Frontier. That wooded area, he moves to Minnesota where all the trees are. That was the frontier. It's the part of America that many people don't live at the time. At the time of the stories, not many people were there. It was very wild and dangerous. So we say it was the frontier. Inseparable. Two people come together. They don't want to be apart. They are inseparable. Me and my dogs, we're inseparable. When I'm home, I'm always with my two dogs. And so those are our words. Colossal, very large. More than large, more than giant. Colossal. Frontier, the wild part of America way in the past. Inseparable, always together. You cannot separate. Like lovebirds. A long time ago, Mr. and Mrs. Bunyan wanted a child. One day, the stork, do you know the stork? It's the bird that brings babies to new parents. One day, the stork brings Mr. and Mrs. Bunyan a baby. But as you can see, this is not an ordinary baby. It is a big, big baby, right? But they're happy. They have a son. They raised the son. As a little boy, he was so big, you can't make a rocking chair to help him sleep. So they made a raft, put him out into the ocean so the waves can help him sleep at night. Because he is a giant baby. Now this giant baby grows up and becomes a colossal man. Bigger than trees. Almost as big as mountains. Paul is giant. He's also very strong. So his family and the people in the town tell him, "You should be a lumberjack. You're so big and strong, that would be the perfect job for you." And he does, and he likes it, and he's really good at cutting down trees. With one swing, he can cut down a whole field of trees. Soon, he's cut down every tree in Maine, and he needs to move. So he goes to the frontier. He goes to Minnesota, to that area, the frontier, where there are so many trees that he can do his job. One winter, it's very cold in the north. Very, very cold. One winter, Paul finds a little ox. The ox is like a work animal. They help people. The ox is frozen cold. He's so cold, his skin turns blue. Well, Paul, he sees the ox and he thinks, I need to help him. So he picks him up like a baby. Says, I'm going to name you Babe. Babe the blue ox. Oh, they get better. Babe gets warmer, but his color never changes. He stays blue for the rest of his life. Soon, Paul and Babe are inseparable. They do everything together. Paul gives Babe his favorite meal, pancakes. But how do you make pancakes for a giant, colossal man? Well, you get people, they put bacon on their feet, and they skate around the frying pan, and the chef cooks giant pancakes. Babe eats so many pancakes that he also becomes a giant. Together, Babe and Paul, they do many wonderful things. To get the trees to where they need to go, we use rivers. But this river was so windy and had many turns that it was very hard and slow moving. So Paul and Babe, they grab each end, pull it tight, and make a straight river, and things were a lot better. They were so good at making a new river that they cut a big hole through America. That hole became the Grand Canyon. And that's where the Grand Canyon comes from. So, Babe and Paul, they have many adventures together. This is one of them. That's one of their stories. There are many stories with Paul Bunyan. I hope you enjoyed it. And I know this is very, very strange. I really, really hope that we can have class together soon. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.